What's going on? It's Battle Cage, Battlecast. You know what time it is. Coming to you with that heat, as always. Yo, I just keep listening to that mixtape by Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty. I'm still riding that train. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop, man. Yeah, yo, Thug Nasty, bro. Let's get more heat out there. All right, everybody, blow up his YouTube channel, his Instagram. We need more heat. All right. With that being said, welcome back to Battle Cage. This is the official Battlecast podcast from me. So let's quickly touch on the last event, okay? And then we're gonna look into the next event. It's gonna be amazing, in my opinion. However, some lines are just ridiculous. But in either case, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna give you guys an early bird right away. You know what I'm saying? What I think. So get that in, and then in my next, my final chapter of the episode, I'm gonna give you guys my personal 5 rules of sports betting. I haven't done something like this, but I figured that I should give you guys some tools because there's gonna be a lot of you know, sports wagering and whatever. But if you are not disciplined, you're just gonna give the money right back to the bookies. I promise you. I lost money only because I didn't follow these rules, and I wrote these rules for myself. So I'd like to share with you guys these set rules, and then I'm really hoping that it's gonna help you guys out. So without further ado, let's take a look at what happened in Columbus, Ohio. So there were some questionable decisions, if you ask me. So Luis Saldana defeats by unanimous decision Bruno Silva. I think that's just a bunch of crap, if you ask me. I completely disagree with that. You know, I was watching the fight, and Luis Saldana did have moments, and yes, it was a relatively close fight. However, you know, second and third round, I don't know. I gotta give it to Souza. So, you know, maybe if they gave him a split, maybe I could see an argument because it was a close fight. But unanimous, I think that's bullshit. That's just my personal take on it. It's not because we had a straight play on it. So that was a night that kind of started off bad. But the read was over 2.5 on this one, or the distance, and that was solid. The second fight also was over 2.5, and the read was going a distance. However, we were edging David Dvorak, and again, Mateus Nicolau, climbs to 18-2 and basically stops that hype train. So again, I'm kind of semi-okay with it, given the fight. But again, it was a close fight as well. Manon Fiorot edges a unanimous decision, as she should have. I expected a finish here, but nevertheless, still a good performance from Manon Fiorot. The biggest favorite, Alisha Kebab. Let's just go on by his last name, Kirziev. The man basically comes in, and he looks like a favorite, and he does what he needs to, and rear naked choke in the second round. El Guapo, my only dog of the night, comes through with a monstrous spinning back fist and elbow. So El Guapo, Chris Gutierrez, what's up? Sarah McMahon, in retrospect, was the biggest dog play of the night. And yeah, nobody kind of really was, eyeing that. But that was awesome. Unanimous decision to Mark Diakiese. The man just went straight to takedown and controlled Slava Claus. Let me bring myself to the screen real quick. I want to talk about that fight with Slava Claus, Vyacheslav Borshov. Note to self: if the man has no takedown defense, do not think highly of him. In retrospect, I should have just completely stayed away from that fight. but everything is clear in retrospect. But, you know, internally, I wasn't so big on Vyacheslav because the line should have indicated so. But again, sometimes the lines are tricky, and, you know, we tend to overthink that. But, yeah, Mark Diakiese, unanimous decision. That was the best unanimous decision that you can ask for. Back to the fight, Neil Magny. You know, I was really high on it, and yeah, he was kind of like stunned in the early of the fight, but he was able to come out victorious with a split decision. That third round was extremely one-sided, so I guess that was enough. A unanimous decision for Kai Kara-France. Another one, you know, maybe because I did have a, you know, vested interest here in Askar Askarov. I will say it was a close fight. The first round, definitely Askar Askarov. You cannot even change my mind. And the second round, definitely Kai Kara-France. And the third round, I don't know. You know, I kind of was watching Askar Askarov taking that fight. And again, Kai Kara-France edged out a unanimous. Go figure. You guys know I was on Brian Barberena. That was my 4-unit play. And yeah, Brian Barberena, you know, hedges out a split decision win. I wish it was a little bit more decisive win. But yeah, he was the perfect spot in this play at even odds. And I took a shot at Brian Barberena. It was a 4-unit play, like I said. And, you know, the last 20 seconds won the fight. But, again, excuse me, very dicey. Very dicey. Very dicey. That's all I got to say. But we got the win. We got the nod. Let's continue. Alexa Grasso should have been the hammer for everybody. Rear naked choke. I believe it was like plus 800 sub prop call. I think that's her only submission win of her career. The girl is, I think she got the goods. She got the goods. Not bad. You know, she has the size, she has the physicality, she got the hands. Now she looks like she's becoming a complete fighter over here. That was her only sub, guys, and it happened in Columbus, Ohio. The main event, you guys know, I absolutely thought that this is how it's gonna go. It was inside the distance all day, Curtis Blaydes all day. Chris Dawkins got pushed too fast for his zone. Damn good. I think he's just way out of line. He is not a top UFC contender. You know, given the low level, you know, kind of fighters, he's gonna clean them up. But anyone in the top 7 right now is probably kind of has his number. I mean, the next fight to make is probably Volkov versus Chris Dawkins. Just, you know, but he's definitely was not ready for Curtis Blaydes. Definitely a major talent discrepancy. So that kind of sums up Columbus, Ohio. What can I say in retrospect? Like I said, everything is clear in retrospect, right? I guess not playing Slava Claus. That's one. Another thing that could have been maybe playing more on Grasso. And yeah, that Askarov definitely killed one of my good parlays. I probably would have had like a $6,000 night if Askarov would have got the nod. But I ended up with $700 side bet, and kind of, you know, saved my night a little bit. But yeah, just, you know, it was like a neutral night for me. It was definitely not profitable, but I definitely didn't take a lot of losses. So from the unit perspective, from what we did, we put $100, $10 per unit. We ended up, because of the 4-unit play on Brian Barberena, he kind of saves the night just a little bit. So we're actually down 3 units because of that. So I'm not really happy with that. But like I said, that Bruno Souza controversial, extremely controversial, in my opinion, decision. and Oscar Askarov decision. You know, but I'm happy for Kai Kara-France. He's a dog. I love the guy. I should have been backing him. In retrospect, again, everything is clear in retrospect. But yeah, I'm happy for Kai Kara-France. I'm not even that. It was a good side to back. So yeah. Now let's quickly take a look on the upcoming fight card. It's a pay-per-view card, UFC 273 from Jacksonville, Florida. Really wanted to go out there, but I think I'm going to skip this one. As much as I want to, I'm going to skip this one, to be honest. Let me see something. There's some updates here. So it looks like Imavov has visa issues. Originally scheduled to fight Kelvin Gastelum. It looks like there was a movement. Aldana, arm injury. So Aspen Lott is now fighting Raquel Pennington. It looks like, again, this is, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but Anthony Hernandez is now fighting Josh Fremd, whoever that guy is. I really don't know. And we have Dricus du Plessis, who was originally fighting Anthony Hernandez, is now fighting Kelvin Gastelum. And that's because, yeah. See this? Rebooked. Okay. In any case, it should be a good card. As I'm scrolling now, obviously our boy Khamzat is back, so extremely happy for that. We're gonna have a final dispute here. We have Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling. When all the talks is finished, I think the build up to this fight is gonna be extremely good. Let's see what happens. And obviously the main fight is Alexander the Great Volkanovski taking on Chang Sung Jung in the main event of the evening for the UFC featherweight strap. So there are currently 14 bouts scheduled. I'm going to run through them pretty fast because I've kind of already made up my mind. And if you are looking for a particular breakdown of a certain fight, make sure you engage with me in the comment section and request it. But I'm just going to give you guys my straight solid picks here. And next week, I'm hoping to give you guys the best line props available, because right now the lines are just absolutely juiced to the max. We'll go over to FanDuel real quick. Sportsbook. Let me just quickly pull that website up. Now, you know, I told you guys many times that I'm not sponsored by them, so please don't think anything crazy. Hold on a second. Let me pull that line for you right now. All right, here we got the lines. Ian Garry was minus 215. He's now 300. You know, I like Mark Madsen here at the plus. You know, he was plus 130. Looks like he's been diluted just a bit. I think this is a fun fight to break down. Kate Hansen versus this newcomer, Piera Rodriguez. I'm probably gonna do a breakdown on this one because I like breaking down close fights. That's where I think it's really it really shows how good you are when you are, you know, picking the right side on the even money. Like same thing with Brian Barberina. In fact, I'm gonna challenge myself. So we got Kay Hansen versus Piera Rodriguez, Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres. And those are the only two really close fights. We also have Jairzinho Rozenstruik, kind of close, like this right here. Yeah, I mean, for the most part. Oh, yeah, and this one, Kelvin Gastelum and Dricus du Plessis. So there's really good lines, you know, on certain spots. I am going to take a challenge on the I'm going to take a challenge at even money stab. K. Hansen versus Piero Rodriguez fight. And I'm going to break down analytically with you guys. But in probably a feature fight event breakdown that I'm going to probably... Today's what? We're at Wednesday, Tuesday. Maybe Thursday I'm going to probably do a live. And I can probably break down fight closer to you, because it's even money odds, and I really like that. And that's it, and everything else is just massive favorites. So let's look from top to bottom, and here's our main card, and we're gonna enter our prediction. It's gonna be Volkanovski, the great, huge favorite, rightfully so, in the prime of his life. I think he just has everything good compared to the Korean Zombie. I like the Korean Zombie. I think he's always coming to fight. I think he's durable enough. I like Alexander Great. He promised to finish, but he's pretty much a decision machine for the most part. But don't get me wrong, he does have the power to finish. I just don't think Chang Sung can be finished early on. So if you are looking for a finish for Alexander the Great, it's probably going to be after the 2.5 mark, if anything. But yeah, I think Alexander the Great just has everything: wrestling, pressure, strength, striking. He's just a complete overall fighter, in the featherweight. He's the king right now. He's definitely the king of the featherweight division. Now the bantamweights are going to be scrapping. This is Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan 2. In their first meeting, Peter Yan was absolutely winning the fight at the moment. Obviously, Aljamain Sterling had some moments. He had him hurt. I'm not going to deny that. And then Peter Yan just did the most reckless thing ever. He illegally knees a kneeling down Aljamain Sterling with what I believe both of his hands on the canvas, and he gets disqualified, and Aljamain Sterling becomes a champion because of that disqualification. I think, these two guys are really going to fight. This is going to be a really good fight. And honestly, I'm not going to say the Funk Master is going to be finished fast. But I just think the physicality that this fight is going to be, it's going to be bloodbath, in my opinion. Like, there's going to be blood. Like I told you, Brian Barberina and Matt Brown, there's going to be blood. There's going to be blood here. Believe me, there's going to be some blood in this fight. So we're going to definitely be backing Peter Yan. I think he's the rightful champion. He is the true champion. He should have been the champion, not just the interim champion. So we're going to be backing him, and I think he just takes it. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Mackenzie Dern, Tecia Torres. My early lean is Tecia Torres. She is on a 3-win streak, which is amazing. Mackenzie Dern has a loss to Marina Rodriguez via unanimous decision about 5 months ago. And Tecia Torres has a win against Angela Hill about 7 months ago. So, the size advantage is for Mackenzie Dern, but not overwhelming. American top team, so definitely good gym behind Tecia Torres, the tiny tornado. Again, my early lean is Tecia Torres, but this is women's MMA, and I'm just not particularly sold on Mackenzie Dern completely. She does not have the hands, but she got the BJJ, but she doesn't have the takedown. So Tecia Torres kind of has the hands, but also has wrestling, which kind of could be danger zone because she could get taken down. I mean, she could get submitted. Now, guys, I'm going to be talking about this. I don't even need to look at this. Khamzat is undefeated 10-0. He is a steamroller of a high train. The only loss for Gilbert Burns in the last 5 fights is to the champion via a power jab with a KO loss. To Kamaru Usman, the king of 170 for now. And then he just, outclassed Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So let me just get a minute with you guys. And I'll just go right now. Khamzat Chimaev, in my opinion, is the only threat at the current moment to welterweight class. So for Kamaru Usman, that if Kamaru Usman wants to be the greatest of greatest, even surpassing Khabib Nurmagomedov, I'm gonna go right now, surpassing Khabib Nurmagomedov and surpassing GSP. That's right. The reason I'm saying this is because Kamaru Usman is basically stopping everybody and he's lapping. And if he is able to beat Leon Edwards in a rematch, which I think he does, and he beats the best prospect in the division at 170, then he will be the greatest. However, Khamzat Chimaev is probably the only real threat to Kamaru Usman because he can match Kamaru Usman's ground game and wrestling. In fact, I think it's a little bit better. He's the only one that can do it because that's all he does. The guy wrestles with, what's his name? Alexander Gustafsson, who's a 205er, who even fought at a heavyweight. So that's crazy to me. And he packs power. I mean, you saw when he punches people, they go down. So Khamzat Chimaev is, again, the only biggest threat at 170. Is he the biggest threat at 185 as well? Double champ. Possibly. He can definitely stand tall with Israel Adesanya. Now, the striking advantage. I'm still going to give it to Izzy. But we know Izzy's kryptonite, and that's wrestling. And Khamzat got that in the bag. And I promise you, if he takes Izzy down, he can submit him. I believe that. I truly believe that. So Khamzat is the biggest dark horse we've ever seen. This guy is the fusion of everything. Power, grit, wrestling, BJJ, everything. This guy, this is how much highly I think of him. And this is why he's such a heavy favorite. I think Gilbert Burns is his biggest test. I think Gilbert Burns is the toughest test for him. But Gilbert Burns, I think, is just not there. He's a little bit undersized. He's 5'10". He's giving up 4 inches. And even though he's a phenomenal wrestler, I just think he's in trouble here, guys. So, yeah, Khamzat Chimaev is going to be the pick. Moving down along, I don't think highly of Kelvin Gastelum anymore at all. So I'm going to go with Dricus du Plessis. And pretty much it. Because I really don't like Kelvin Gastelum anymore. That's just the bottom line. He's been nothing but a letdown. If you look in his last 5 fights, the man has 1 W against Ian Heinisch. And all these reds, man. All these reds, bro. So Dricus du Plessis, on the other hand, he's coming in with a 4-win streak. The guy is built solid. He's fast. He's agile. The biggest threat will be wrestling, but I don't think that's a problem. He took out Trevin Giles in the second round. He finished Marcus Perez in the first round. He finished Brendan Lessler with a choke. He basically finished the last 4 fights. And if you look at his record, he has 7 KOs, 9 submissions, and no decision. This guy comes to win, and I believe he finishes Kelvin Gastelum. And he's currently at plus money odds. So I'm not saying go run and grab, but I don't trust this guy, Kelvin Gastelum. Ever since he fought Israel Adesanya, the man has been changed. He's been blessed and crucified in the worst possible way. And yeah, I think he's done in the UFC, you know. So yeah, let's just fade Kelvin Gastelum. I don't know a lot about this guy, Mike Malott. I could do some homework, but I really don't like Mickey Gall as well. So I think that's going to be a skipper for me. I really don't care about this fight. Julio Arce versus Daniel Santos is an intriguing fight, but I don't have the necessary information at the moment. So I would be a liar giving you any information that's just not relevant or incorrect. I guess the best way to judge this fight is to see if the dog is worth the stab, or this is a place where he doesn't belong. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way to really evaluate this fight. So we're gonna basically put a pin on this one, and I'm gonna definitely come back next week when I give you guys lines and best bets and best picks. With that being said, we're moving into our next fight, and that's Garry taking on Darian Weeks. You know, I think Garry definitely got the goods, and as you can see, the bookies are respecting him. 93% of the audience of public is respecting Garry. His nickname is the Future. I mean, he got all the marketable attributes you can imagine. You know, another Irish stud. You know, I think he's better looking than Conor McGregor. He's taller than Conor McGregor. I think he's more mature, even at 24, to be honest. And I don't see him being reckless. I just think he's just going to be more of a classic stand-up kind of guy. He has extreme confidence in himself. And Garry, give me that all day. Parlay the shit out of it, if you ask me. Next one. Vinc Pichel versus Mark Madsen. You know, you got the Olympian Mark Madsen here, undefeated, 11-0, with just a sketchy win against Clay Guida, which I really didn't think he's going to be winning that fight, even though I had him. But he did. He kind of did. He started MMA relatively late. He's 37 years old, still in the good shape. I mean, talk about goals being at 37. Look at this guy. This guy is just phenomenal. So you know the wrestling is there. As long as he doesn't get knocked out by Vinc the Hell Pichel. From Hell, I'm sorry. I called him the Hell. From Hell Pichel. Another aging fighter, 39 years old, but he's been on a 3-win streak here, which is kind of surprising to me. So you got Austin Hubbard, which was a good win. Jim Miller, which is a good win. And Roosevelt Roberts, even though that man exposed him. And look at Grigor Gillespie taking him out. So that was, 2018. So, I think Mark Madsen is the play here, to be honest. I think he got it. The wrestling is just going to be too much, and he's probably going to edge out a win. Or if he's smart enough, he's going to submit Vinc Pichel. Now, I told you guys this is a good fight, and I think I want to analytically break this down for you. I'm currently in the process of breaking it down, but if I have to describe Piera Rodriguez, the words that come to mind are fast, volume, striking, and relentless. She brings the fight. She's not afraid to fight you. She throws a lot of hands. Kay Hansen, on the other hand, not the biggest striker in my opinion. However, she has clean and precision striking. So when she does fight and when she does throw hands or leg kicks, she really gets them. Like, they just so precise and beautiful to watch. She's more of a counter striker. That's why her counters are just so clean. It's beautiful to watch. But the low volume is probably going to get her in trouble if she's not able to take down here. In her last fight versus Just Divinius, she tried to take down right away, but she was just massively overpowered by Jasmine Just Divinius, who in fact took her down. But in this case, as you can see, 5'2", 5'3", 6'3" on each side. I think she should be able to take down Pereira Rodriguez, and if she does, then I'm gonna edge Kay Hansen. There's gonna be a lot of money from the public coming in at Rodriguez. As you can see, this public is gonna be really, really judgmental of Kay Hansen because of the recency bias. She lost to Corey McKenna. She lost to Jasmine Jasudavicius, and just from, I get it from the public perspective, she's like a major letdown, but this girl, she's not afraid to fight. I mean, this girl is very young. She's 22 years old. Which is crazy, right? And I just feel like her biggest mistake is definitely her management, because they're just really, not picking the fights for her the way they should, and they need to slow this girl down. I mean, look at her. She's from Invicta in 2020, jumps in 2020. In June, has a pretty good performance. She submits Jun Yu Fry, but she got beat down in that fight. So just something to know. And again, same year, that's her third fight. She jumps in with Corey McKenna, and she gets stopped. And as you can see, people are questioning her, and she does come in as a favorite into this fight against Jasmine Jasudavicius. But I was like, Jasmine is so much bigger. Let me take a stab on the plus money, and I was correct. She was just too big. In this case, again, she's going to be coming in against an undefeated fighter who I believe is the former LFA champion in her weight class. Correct me if I'm wrong. She fought Svetlana Gutsik and ground and pound in the 5th round. That was a good fight. If you didn't watch it, you can rewatch it on UFC Fight Pass. And then she made a good account of herself in UFC Contender Series, Dana White's Contender Series, and here she are getting her welcoming present from Kay Hansen. And you know what? I am personally going to be backing Kay Hansen's side here, because I think the biggest factor is the takedown. And if she takes you down, I think she's going to control you and win. So again, I'm going to be more analytical in the feature fight section when we come to that part. When we come there, and that's probably next week. But leaning Kay Hansen as of right now. We got heavyweight boys, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Marcin Tybura. I'm going to tell you right now, Marcin Tybura is good. He knocked out Walt Harris, which is incredible. He beat Greg Hardy, knocked him out. He beat Ben Rathwell, and he beat Maxim Grishin. But he got stopped by Alexander Volkov here. So, I'm going to be very honest with you here. I love Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik's biggest losses are to the biggest fighters in the game. So, Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane, and Curtis Blaydes, because Curtis Blaydes does what Curtis Blaydes does. He takes you down, he controls you, and he wears you out. If Marcin Tybura doesn't implement the ground game here and decides to stand and bang with one of the most dangerous fighters in the game, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, I think he's absolutely dangerous. I just think, his volume is just absolutely horrendous. But I think this is a bounce back for him, and I'm gonna write the equation: lose, win, lose, win, lose. It's time for win, Rozenstruik. Let's go, Biggie boy. And I think he knocks out Marcin Tybura to another planet, if you ask me, because he needs to. So let's go, Biggie boy. Let's get this bag. Now, Aspen Ladd has struggled so much with the weights, guys. And her last fight was at 145, and now she has to go to 135. You got to be watching the scales on this fight, because if she comes in any way looking terrible, you just have to slam Raquel Pennington here. Raquel Pennington, she's running 3-win streaks against Marion Reneau, who's no longer, and she's an aging fighter. Pini Kinza, who's a good fighter, by the way. Good win for her, young fighter. And Macy Gison, who's just too damn big. And that was a spectacular performance. So I really like Raquel Pennington. I think finally over the years she's coming into her form. I know Rocky from the beginning when Rocky was an Ultimate Fighter with Roxanne Modafferi, you're talking about 2013. So the girl's been here for a minute, and she's really losing to the top of the top. Jessica Andrade, Holly Holm. I think she fought Holly Holm twice, So, yeah, what can I tell you? When it comes to, like mediocre talent, which I think Aspen Lad is mediocre talent, in the middle over there. She's not the worst. She definitely got some wins. Look, KO against Tanya Evinger, Sijara Eubanks decision. Lost to Jermaine Durandry via knockout. Beat Yana Kunitskaya, 2 years ago. And then just struggled after that. And look, finally fought Norma Dumont and got just controlled. So I am backing Rocky. Yeah, Rocky all day. Give me Rocky, man. So the heavyweight boys are rescheduled. I was all over Sledgehammer here, but then now I'm not too sure. I'm still gonna give Latifi the nod here, but damn, it's just the fact that the fight was pulled off, last minute from Ilir Latifi's side, makes me just say, don't touch this fight. And finally, like I said, we got a replacement for Anthony Hernandez, Josh Fremd. I don't have the data here. I just see a bigger guy, size-wise, making his debut. Anthony Hernandez's last win was absolutely stupendous here. He fought Rodolfo Vivera. He came in like plus 300 underdog here. And, and it's so funny. He fought a submission killer, right? Someone that has a nickname of the Black Belt Hunter, Rodolfo Rivera, who's shown that he's really just not that good. But hey, when he gets you down, he submits you. He does, and here he was more patient, so he was able to go into the third round against Dustin Stolfus and still submitted him. But the funny thing is, everybody thought that he's gonna get submitted here, and Anthony the Fluffy Hernandez turns out and he just submits Rodolfo Rivera in the almost to the end of the second round. He just gets the guy so tired. So go figure. Irony on its full display in its whole glory, life smacking everybody in the face here. So do I think Fluffy is the right side to back? I think so. I think the public thinks so as well, right? The bookies think as well. Let's look at the line really quick. All right. Hernandez, where are you? Right here. Anthony Hernandez. Minus 162, plus 136. So the bookies are giving him some respect, I guess, to the newcomer. I personally don't know how much to give love, but I think Anthony Hernandez's side is the rightful side. But I'm not too sure here. And you know what? Unless I have like real concrete data that I can't convince, I'll probably pull a trigger. As of now, I'm leaning Anthony Hernandez, but I'm definitely got to do more homework on Josh Fremd here, and I'm going to save that for my next podcast. We're going to touch that fight a little more. Obviously, I'm going to tell you right now, love Volkanovski, love Peter Yan, love Khamzat, possibly not going a distance, if you ask me. I'm liking plus money on Dricus Duplexes. Give me the finisher all day. I like Ian Garry. Really like Ian Garry. Leaning Mark Madsen. Strongly leaning on Kay Hansen. Leaning and love Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Raquel Pennington. All day. I don't care. And that's kind of it for me. And then obviously, as the time goes by and we get the props, presented to us, I'm definitely going to be able to give you guys a little bit more to do. Now, I promised you guys in my last for the last part of this podcast to, leave you guys with some vital information. I'd like to share with you 5 rules that I believe if you follow them, you're just never going to be at a disadvantage. You're never going to be at a total advantage, but it will, save you from hardships and losses and heartbreaks. I've been through a lot of this. Like, I've been doing this for a minute now, and I've learned a few. Definitely learned a few. And I want to give you guys 5 rules of sports betting, I guess, that you should absolutely adhere to 100%. The minute you break them, you break one rule, you're going to be at a loss. All my losses, if you count all my losses, 98% was because I didn't abide by my rules. And now much more disciplined. In fact, I am planning to have just a podcast, one episode where I don't break down fights or anything, but I'm actually going to just review these rules and give you tips on how to, bankroll manage yourself, how to use the app to the best of your ability, setting, limits. It's something that it just came to me in the last maybe 2-3 months where, I've been giving too much money back because I'm not following my own rules and I'm just being reckless here. So stay tuned for that, okay? But yeah, rule number 1, and it's very important: don't bet when you're tired. It's absolutely vital for your brain to be at its optimal functional, level. Sports, it's a live event. Things are moving. People are moving. Competition, numbers. A lot of things are happening. You need to be sharp. You need to be focused. If you're tired, you may not see something. You may miscalculate, especially in basketball, right? You need the math. If you're playing the over/under, solos, team totals, spreads, you need to be doing math. And if you're tired, there's room for miscalculation. There's room for misjudgment. And don't bet when you're tired. No matter what. If you lost a stack, get the out. Leave. Don't bet when you're tired. I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. Promise you. All my losses came when I'm tired. Number 2, don't bet anything knowing it's a bad bet. If someone tells you to bet something and you don't agree with it, don't bet it. Clear example. Vyacheslav Borshev, right? Something was funny about the line, like I said. I kind of had a feeling. But I had confirmation from 2 good backers, from 2 cappers, and it persuaded me. If I followed my rule, don't bet knowing it's a bad bet, I would have never made that bet. Another one. Kyrie Irving first game at the Barclays Center on Sunday. I took him for 3.5 threes. And something felt bad. I'm like, why are you going on this hype train? Everybody's thinking Kyrie's going off. Kyrie never went off when he's supposed to. Kyrie goes off when he wants to. Don't bet anything knowing it's a bad bet. Especially, now, if you don't know, then that's one thing. But if you have a feeling, knowing it's a bad bet, don't do it. Which brings me to the 3rd rule. Number 3. Don't money chase. It's better to lose and come back later. Simple. Don't money chase. If you lose $100 and you're exceeding your bankroll, you're done. Go home. Relax. Go to the gym. Spend time with your family. Spend time on yourself. Read a book. Make love with your significant other. Eat a good meal. There's so much more you could do with that money. Don't money chase. Do not, I repeat, do not money chase. You losing? Go home right away. Pack your shit. Turn off your app. Set limits, like I said, and that's something that I'm going to be talking in the next podcast. Don't money chase. Come back tomorrow stronger and win. Trust me. Take a break if you need to, but don't money chase. Never do that. Don't play with emotion, because that's what happens. When you money chase, you play with emotions. Don't get angry. Don't blame anybody. accept the fault, analyze the mistake, and move on. All right, and that brings me to my final rule. Rule number 5, no bet is a good bet. Don't bet. If you don't, there's no need to bet. I'm just gonna be very honest with you. And I know it's a channel that's helping people, or supposed to be helping people make money. But I'll tell you the best way not to lose. Don't bet. No bet is the best bet. But if you have to make a bet, make sure you follow the first 4 rules that I just mentioned. Don't bet when you're tired. Don't bet anything knowing it's a bad bet. Don't money chase. Because you're playing with emotion. Don't get emotional. I actually skipped one. I skipped one. Number 4. Understand the sport you are betting. Never bet on anything without full understanding of your sport. Don't bet on tennis if you don't know anything about tennis. Don't bet on hockey if you don't know anything about hockey. Stick to something that you do know and understand, because at least it will give you the ability to analyze the situation. So let's recap. Number 1, don't bet when you're tired. Don't bet anything knowing it's a bad bet. Number 3, don't money chase. Number 4, understand the sport you are betting. And number 5, no bet is a good bet. Okay? No bet is a good bet. Just because you missed an opportunity to bet, understand that there's thousands of opportunities per day. So many lines, so many different positions. Let a day go by. Who cares? Spend it with your family. Spend it spend it on yourself. Use the time to maybe pray. Use the time for anything beneficial, positive. So, don't feel the need to bet every day or every hour or every minute. There's some people just so hooked in it. Take a break. No bet is a good bet. Set days for yourself, okay? Free days, exploration days, relaxation days, enlightenment days. So, be easy, you know what I mean? Don't always that's why I'm so calm right now. I actually unplugged myself. I need a break. Thank God we have a week off. I can concentrate on other things, and then when UFC comes around in 2 weeks, I'll focus on that. But I'm not gonna be going crazy anymore. Relax. Gotta let the processor calm down. It's been overloaded. Don't overload the main processor. This is it. Once that gets overheated, unless you're cooling it down, you're in trouble. So those are the 5 rules that I'm going to leave you with. And I hope that's going to be beneficial to you guys. I really hope. If you stayed for the very end, 48 minutes of this podcast, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe as always. Comment down below to engage with me. That's going to help the channel tremendously, okay? Absolutely tremendously. I thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening to me. And again, if you need to get in contact, make sure you comment down below. And let's be profitable, but the best way to do it is with discipline. Follow the 5 rules I mentioned. I promise you, it's only gonna help you. It's not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna. If the most honest advice is probably these 5 rules. And I'm telling you, they came from experience, on my skin. Okay, I've experienced it. I've been to the dark places. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. Now, I'm probably going to get you guys with another podcast where I, maybe give you some tips and tricks that I've learned, reading the lines or understanding the spread, understanding, favorites and underdogs, on understanding bankroll management. If you guys are interested in that type of content, make sure you comment down below. As always, it's been a pleasure, Saif, checking out. And stay blessed until next time, all right? Your boy Saif is out.